ladies and gentlemen, with a speech entitled New Beginnings, please welcome Mrs. Maura Geraghty.
Good evening, Mr. President, Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters and visitors. As Ethna said, the name of my story is New Beginnings. My name is Maura, or is it? I was born in Athy, County Kildare. It was a home delivery, and my granny assisted at the birth. She carried me down to the kitchen and said to my father, "Sit down, Jim, there's something I have to tell you." My father looked up at her very anxiously and said, "Is she all right?" Meaning my mother. "Oh yeah, she's fine." "And is the baby all right?" "Oh yes, she's fine too. But you've not only one, you have got two girls, identical twins." We were unexpected twins, born 10 minutes apart, and of very low birth weight. I was firstborn, and I only weighed 3.5 pounds, and my twin weighed 4.5 pounds. I don't know how we survived with such low birth weight, but it was a very exciting time. We were the only twins in the town, and indeed we were the only twins in the school. We went to the Convent of Mercy, we were taught by the nuns, and we were, it was an all-girls school. Nobody could tell us apart. We got into all sorts of trouble, as you can imagine, in and out of lots of scrapes. But we had a lovely childhood. I chose nursing for my career. I studied infectious diseases for 3.5 years in Dublin. But then I wanted to further my studies and career. But at that time, there was a very long waiting list in Ireland for young girls to do the nurses' training. So I was left with two choices, either to wait the long wait or go to England. So I chose England. But I promised I'd only go, complete my training and come back home. But events took over like they do. I completed my training. I decided I would stay on for a further 6 months to gain experience as a staff nurse. But then I was offered a sister's post on a female surgical ward. I was the youngest sister in the hospital, and I loved it. So it put a stop to my gallop of ever coming back, except for the holidays. I didn't like England at all when I first went there, but I grew to like it very much, and I stayed. I got married. It didn't work out, but I have 2 lovely children from that marriage, a girl and a boy. Now they've grown up, they're following their own career, and they're doing very well. 10 years ago, my twin sister Anne was moving house here in Mayo, and I came over to help her. And one of the first things she says to me was, "Maura, we're going to a dance tomorrow night." Oh, I said, "Where are we going?" And she said, "We're going into the Woods Hotel." Oh, I said, "Where is that?" And she said, "It's in Westport." So off we went to the dance. Both walked onto the dance floor. This man came and tapped me on the shoulder and asked me to dance. Great, I thought. Another man came along and he asked me to dance. And I thought, lovely. And the first man came back again and gave me a dance. And he's here tonight, Mr. Gerard. I went back and I gave him my resignation. Now you might think that was quick off the mark, but it was the long goodbye, a bit like Bertie Ahern. So I came back home and we had a lovely 4 years courtship. During that time we had Jared's old cottage, his parents' cottage, converted for us. And I was anxious and kind of very excited to move in and to see the alterations since I designed them. So we moved in 6 years ago around St. Valentine. And that night, Chair proposed to me. So I didn't see that one coming. I said, I was so excited and so romantic. I said, oh Jesus, my blood pressure will go up. So then he proceeded to tell me how he was going to propose. And he was going to take a big bunch of flowers and put them up on the mountain where the land meets the mountain and come down for me on the quad bike. But then he thought about this and he thought, well, maybe by the time I get down and go back up, take her up, the sheep might have eaten the flowers. There would be a bunch of stalks left. Not that I would have noticed the stalks. So he scrapped that idea and stuck to the first plan, new beginnings, when we moved into the house. We got married 6 months later, and it was magic. On that same spot, and we had our first dance, and we had our reception and our first dance on the very same spot where we met. And we lived happily ever after. And that is my story. Thank you for listening and good night.
You stood up here without any notes. Now I know, lots of people do, but not everybody does, and not everybody does it as naturally. I loved the way eye contact was perfect. Your speech was clear and obvious. Your speech was well prepared. Absolutely everything that the manual asked you to do, you did. All the boxes ticked, first class. So all I can say is thank you very much. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. From the laugh, the audience really enjoyed that. So I just go back to just what I wrote. It was just brilliant. Well done. And I really do look forward to everything that you do in future. And I do hope you do continue, because I think you will do what needs to be done for really good speeches, is just prepare, have no notes, and just speak the way that you do. Now, the manual does ask to say something, is there room for improvement? I'm really picking at straws here. I'm saying, the way you stood, you moved back and forward a little. And that was a little bit disconcerting. But I'm evaluating this like I would somebody who's done this for years and years and years. I say, well done, you are absolutely fantastic, and I really do look forward to the rest of your speech. Thank you.